Hello everyone, I hope you guys are doing absolutely fine. Today we are going to speak about a Raspberry Pi and we have a small demonstration of a project which can be done using a Raspberry Pi. So coming to the first topic, we are going to discuss about the introduction. What is a Raspberry Pi? How it can be used? What are the different types of Raspberry Pi? The models, and then what is the community look like right now? And then we have some use cases of Raspberry Pi where it can actually be used and how it can actually be used. So the first thing is the Raspberry Pi is a small credit card sized microprocessor or a mini processor which is aimed to promote education and do it yourself projects. Not only do it yourself projects, we can have many different things which can be done, like integrating IoT devices, and using IoT devices we can have great efficiency in our work. So the different models of Raspberry Pi look like Raspberry Pi Zero, the 3 model B plus, and then you have the 4 model, the Raspberry Pi 4, and then right now we have the Raspberry Pi 5 which came out 2 to 3 months ago. And then we have the different models. The different models has different CPU powers which actually has great efficiency, and with each and every different Raspberry Pi models you get more and more different power systems, and which we can use it for our different use cases. And the community of the Raspberry Pi looks great because there are many developers out there who are contributing towards open source, and which is making our community great. So for that we have instructables.com, which can be used if you want to get any help for Raspberry Pi, or if you want to do any kind of project. It is very versatile. It has creative programming, and it is actually used in media sensors and media centers and home automation like smart homes or smart waste management, etc. So coming to the next thing, we are going to discuss about the hardware layout. What is there in a Raspberry Pi? What is actually how does the Raspberry Pi look like? The Raspberry Pi which is shown in the screen is the Raspberry Pi 4. The Raspberry Pi 4 has a processor in the middle which can be seen, which is actually showed as new, and then you have the USB-C power supply. So like in your Raspberry Pi 4 model, I'm not sure about the model 3. In the model 4, in the model 4 B plus, we have a Type C which is given, and then you have two HDMI ports. Okay, so like those are micro HDMI ports. So like you can have extended displays also. So first connect the left one and then the right one, and then you have USB ports, USB 3 ports, and then you have gigabit Ethernet also. There are different varieties, as I told. In this also there are different varieties because you have 1 GB RAM model, 2 GB RAM model, and 4 GB RAM model, which is actually very helpful. And in the middle right next to the RAM, you can see a small mounting thing which can be actually used for connecting cameras or any other peripherals using the breadboard or directly. And then you have the general input output pins on the right side of the board, so like you can see the pins. Coming to the explanation part, we have micro HDMI points, which, as I told you, we can use it for adding more and more monitors to our system. And then you have USB 2 and 3, which is USB 3 is comparatively faster than the 2, and it can be used for connecting HDD, or if you want to add any solid state drives. And then you have USB-C power supply, as I told you, which is a new thing in our Raspberry Pi 4. You have gigabit Ethernet, and then you have different choices of RAM, and then we have more powerful processor in the Raspberry Pi 5. The processor is extremely fast, as it was released 10 years later. Coming to the operating system, speaking about the operating system, there are two main operating system. The first one is Noobs, and the second one is Raspbian. We have worked with Noobs, so we are gonna speak about Noobs. So as I told you, the variety is more. You can even add Linux or Debian OS, so that you can use it efficiently by shell scripting, etc., and which can be actually programmed without using the graphical user interface. Noobs is for beginners. The word says new out of the box software. You know what they did there. So it is a user friendly menu for choosing and installing your desired OS. And then the installation is pretty simple. You have to take an SD card, connect it to a different laptop, program the SD card to have Noob software, and then you can directly connect it to the Raspberry Pi to get the GUI, which you can see on the right side, the first pic. So you have a simple GUI there, which can be used to connect to the Wi-Fi, the SSH, and etc. As I told you, there are many multiple OS choices. You can check like Raspbian, or there are many operating systems which are under development and which can be used for future usage. And then beyond noobs for advanced user, it means that you can directly connect the Linux system like Debian or Debian or any other of your choice. Coming to the configuration of programming, how it is configured to program. So first thing is, as I told you, like what we have to do is the micro SD card should contain the operating system. That is the initial setup. And then the connectivity should be done. So like you have to connect your keyboard, mouse, and then the Wi-Fi for Ethernet connectivity. Like if you want to connect to the SSH, like if you want to use your Raspberry Pi without a head, that means without a monitor, you have to connect it to a SSH, so that you can use it remotely from anywhere. And then you have to set up a programming environment, like you can use Python is mostly used here. C++ is used. And then you have a code developer, like here inside a Raspberry Pi there were many code editors which can be used, like you can even add Visual Studio Code or many other IDEs, and then you can just execute. And you can just add sensors, and you can start testing with the general input output pins, which we had showed in the image right in your screen. You can see those small pins which can be used to add sensors. And different pins has different voltage requirements. So like for example, if you want to add a fan, if you can add a fan to pin number 5 and pin number 3, I think so the speed of the fan will be less, so it can be used for efficiency or low voltage. And coming to the next thing, the main thing is the temperature monitoring system, which we have to explain here. So this temperature monitoring system is used by adding a sensor called as SenseHat. So on the right in your screen, you can see on the top there is a small board with a few LCD display, with a small LCD display. That is a sensor called as SenseHat, that is directly mounted on the Raspberry Pi. If not, you can add it using breadboard or jumper wires, which we can get in the market. On the right side, you can see how it is integrated, and below you can see how the dashboard will actually look like if you add a small screen to your Raspberry Pi system. Simple hardware setup. You can add your own pins, you can add your own general input output pins, and then you have to retrieve data from the sensor using the coding part and the Adafruit software. Okay, so Adafruit software is a small software which is used as an API, and then you have to process the data from a Python script, and then you have to display the output. It's your wish if you want to display the output in the small LCD display, no problem, or if you want to display in a dashboard, there's no problem with that. And then you have continuous monitoring. You can set a small delay to it, like at what time you want to see the data, like every 5 minutes, every 10 minutes, or every 20 minutes, or every 5 seconds also. So here's a small code which can be explained. So the time module is used, the board module is used, and we have BUSIO for your different parts of the code. For using the different components like I2C sensor for the LCD display. And then you have the user settings. You have to directly connect it to the Adafruit, get the API key from there, and then you can directly you can directly connect your system to it. And then you are setting the intervals, at what time do we need the data and how should we display it. So that this is how the main part is going on. And then as soon as it is done, then you can get a small dashboard here with the actual fill level, the actual humidity level, the temperature level, and a small graph for gathering the statistics of the temperature. This is how the temperature monitoring system is looking